You're listening to the Esoterics Podcast. Hello, everyone. This is Fiorelise.
And this is Joe. I'm so happy to be here. Welcome back to the Esoterics Podcast. How are things going this week, V?
Pretty good. We had a Halloween party this last weekend.
You did? At your house?
Yeah, it was the kids' idea. They were the ones that really pushed for it.
Yeah.
I'm partied out. I don't want to do it anymore.
Okay, that's super fun, though. Did you have a bunch of people there?
Yeah, so each of the kids invited all their friends. So yeah, it was a mix of ages. And then it was a moment of me and my friends realizing that now we are the old people at the party. Mm-hmm. And that was a rude awakening.
It was. Oh.
Mean.
Okay, yeah, but you own the house.
Yes.
All right. Well, that sounds like absolute fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We tried to have karaoke, but we couldn't get the freaking equipment to work. But next party, we will have the karaoke going.
Yeah, is it going to be an annual thing?
Yeah, probably. It's
Excellent.
like the one holiday that I do prefer. So why not?
All right, so I want to give a shout out this week to nurses. Nurses everywhere. I know that we have several in our listening audience. I know I have several friends who are nurses, and I come from early on in my corporate career. I started out working for a nurses association, so I've worked with nurses my whole life. And I just had a recent stint in ER, nothing serious, but I wanted to really shout out to them because the healthcare is awful. It's in an awful state right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible, but those nurses were fucking top notch and they made the difference. They really did make the difference. So hi nurses. Yeah. I love you so much.
Thank a nurse today because they're burnt out. God bless them.
God bless them. Do something nice for them today. Like we're taping today, Monday. It's actually Halloween.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Your kids probably don't trick or does Tino does he trick or treat?
Oh no, they both of them do.
They do?
Yeah. I mean, the oldest one, she's an adult now. I don't know if she's gonna want to, but yeah, the kids do because they go out with their friends.
I totally would. Listen, I'd do it now with my friends if I could. And right now there's sort of this trend where people are saying, let anybody trick or treat because it keeps people out of trouble.
If you get a good enough costume that no one can see your face and tell how old you are, I mean, we can trick or treat if we want to. Just be tall kids. I haven't grown since I don't know, freshman year in high school. So I mean, How do you know?
I've actually shrunk, so I mean,
right? We can get away with it.
Yes. So tell me I can't trick or treat. Honestly, I'd just be out there for the Snickers bars,
exactly.
Like Snickers, Twix, Reese's, peanut butter cups, caramels, but the real caramels, not the fake Brock's caramels. Those are disgusting.
Yep, I'm here for the Snickers and the Reese's cups.
Yeah. Oh, yes, dude. They're so good. It's stupid. Have you ever had made cookies with, instead of chocolate chips, you Reese's peanut butter cups all chopped up?
No.
Yeah, but I guess you'll be doing it now, won't you?
Yes.
Yes. Trust me. It is. And they even have a Reese's peanut butter cup that is all peanut butter. It's the peanut butter is chocolate and... Yeah, so I actually, that's the one I would do.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Use that for cookies.
Yep. Yeah, peanut butter cookies are my favorite. They're my absolute favorite.
We had some leftover cheesecake cups from the party. I was just going to hand those out to the neighbors today.
Oh.
Because I'm sure they're going to be out there handing out candy. So it's gonna.
Yeah, did you make them?
I did not. My friend did, but
no,
I'm not going to eat that many.
Oh, no. Are they?
They're delicious.
They are. Dairy or vegan?
No, they're dairy. And that's the other thing too. I can only have so much.
My friends got married in Scotland last week, and Friday was their reception here in Portland. Oh my God, they this cool little place called Cooper's Hall. It was all decked out in lights and just really adorable. And then they had a bunch of wait staff handing out hors d'oeuvres at the pre the dinner, and they had little, literally the best deviled eggs I've ever had in my entire life. And I love a good deviled egg. They had these sausage things that honestly I didn't love those, but and then they had these polenta cheese puffs that were the bomb. So I love little hors d'oeuvres, and I never I'll never make them and have them for dinner.
I've always wanted to make deviled eggs. Now that you every time someone mentions them or I see them at a party or whatever, I'm always like, I want to make these. And
you've never made them?
I've never made them, and I love them.
You know what? That you're out of your mind. You need to make some for Thanksgiving and make like a double batch is what I do, because they get eaten.
Good idea. Yeah.
They get eaten, and I'll eat those, for days.
I did make your baked beans for the party. Yeah. I did, and they were a hit. So as usual.
Oh, good! Yay! The beans live on. That's a good ass recipe too.
It really
is. I wanted to make those today. I told you earlier, but I'm struggling with Mercury RX and the effects it has on the intestines.
Apparently,
which a few of these will get into that a little bit later. The other thing I want to talk about is that I handed in my first astrology assignment.
Oh.
And I'm so proud of myself because I went into it feeling like I don't know what the hell's going on. And it was describe how when Neptune moved into its home sign of Pisces in 2011, how that impacted your life. And my first thought was, I don't fucking know. It was 2011, right? What the fuck?
Well, so it's not asking you to remember.
Right, but still. So then I got out the ephemeris and I started looking, and I was like, oh shit, that was when I went through, in May actually. It moved in April, and then in May I went through a breakup. And it was the last breakup that I've had, and I did like a serious Scarlett O'Hara vow, right? As my dying breath, I will never again. Basically, it was like, why do I keep attracting the same assholes?
Yes.
The same douchebags. And so that was when I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done with men until I figure out why I keep attracting the same. And that's when that was. And then that is what ignited my spiritual awakening and all that stuff. So that was really cool. And I really wouldn't have remembered that or been able to go through that and assign that to all of the different phases in astrology since then, unless I had that assignment. So I'm really proud of myself, and it was really cool. Awesome. It was fun.
So did you figure it out?
I mean, I did. It sort of showed me what it did was it didn't give me any insight into anything, but it did because I'm not there yet. I don't know how to read all of that stuff to say, oh, this is why, right? But what it did show me was that whenever there was a major shift in Neptune in Pisces with the other stars and planets around it, that coincided with other major events in my life. So it showed me how to sort of look at that as a bigger picture.
Oh, that's very cool. So what time of the year was that in 2011?
April of 2011. That's when Neptune and Pisces, together, they just, for me personally, it sparked a spiritual awakening.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but there was also quitting the corporate world was in there somehow, and starting a brick and mortar was in there, and then moving to Portland. And then I looked at my astrocartography one more time with an eye that's a little bit more knowledgeable, and it just blew me away. So here's the thing about this class. I love this class. It's so fun, but I'm finding that I wish that it was a little bit more 101, a little bit more super basic. So I'm having to do a lot of self-study, and as you know, because you have the same issues, we don't like
self-guided.
No, we like to, right? We want to do what we want to do. So I'm finding myself more drawn toward the nodes, the south node, the north node, the true node, all of those things, because that deals with destiny, past life, and all that stuff. And I'm being more drawn toward things that support esoteric astrology. So I have to learn these things, the basics. But I'm also learning these things over here on this side, which are keeping my attention. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I do love it.
It's so much to learn. There's so many facets to it.
How did you get into it, and what's your sort of journey been with it?
I just, when I was like a teenager, I just always picked up astrology books, and I loved learning about how the signs complement each other or don't complement each other, you know, especially like, so basically like love astrology. Like I lived for that shit. Like wanting
Did you
to know.
read Linda Goodman's book?
Yes.
That was the first book I read on
Yep.
astrology. Yeah.
Yep. The love signs, the sun signs book. Yes. Yeah. I loved all those books. That was like what got me into it. What kept me in it. And that's still like what I like to look at. I like to look at how one person's placements either complement or like directly, you know, or what is it, like square up against somebody else's, and you know, and it displays how that relationship is going to function or dysfunction or whatever like that. I like seeing that, but not that I like seeing dysfunction, but I just like seeing how, you know, how things kind of work together. But I mean, just in general, like kind of the psychology behind relationships themselves, and how you said, like, why do you keep attracting the same people? And that happens not just in love relationships, you see it in friendships too. Yep. Like where
social circles,
work. Why do I always exactly? And it's because the universe will always present you with the same lesson until you complete the lesson, until you learn what you're supposed to get out of the lesson, and until you don't learn it, you're gonna keep repeating it. It's like, you know, it's like when you fail a class. You fail the class, you got to take it again.
Yep.
Do it again.
Yep. We're going to dive into a tiny bit deeper into that concept today.
Cool.
But it's just going to support what you just talked about. You know what we should do next season, because we're getting ready to wrap this season up and then take a small break. But next season, it would be fun if we had somebody on where I did their numerology as a couple, you did their astrology as a couple, and we could do that live. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I know, right? So if we have some volunteers out there that are willing to be opened up bare for the world to see,
we can keep your name. We can change your names.
We'll change your name. Yeah. Okay.
We'll change your names.
Damn it. All right, fine.
Well, we can do a celebrity couple. Those are fun too.
Oh, well, that's true. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So if there's anybody out there willing, send us an email. But if not, we'll just do celebrity couple. We did Harry and Meghan. Oh no, I did Harry and Meghan. When I guessed. Did a guest spot on Glow Girl with Tracy White.
Yeah, I've been fascinated with the whole Tom Brady and Giselle business,
girl,
because it's so like it's kind of sad. Like you see, you know, they were I don't fucking like him. Just
fucking,
you know,
Tom Brady.
Yeah, but like them as a couple, like I could see how they complemented each other, and it was kind of a nice thing. It was like just a nice, you know, I like regardless of what I think about someone personally, like I can still say like, oh, their relationship seemed cool. Like they seemed like a good couple to each other, good complement to each other. And then, you know, whatever his deal is that he doesn't want to stop working, and it's like, for fucking what? Like that's so sad. Like you're gonna go back to work because what? Like you're whatever it is, your ego can't handle rest or a change in life or feeling like you're no longer in the limelight.
We don't know him personally, right? But okay, but as an intuitive, my first gut is that he's having a bit of a hit to his ego because he's not in the limelight anymore, right? He's not, you know, he's not the goat, which, you know, he is an actual horse's ass, and it's kind of the same. I got nothing good to say about Tom Brady, especially as a Michigan State fan. So let's, yeah.
Yeah, but with Giselle, I think it's interesting though how she is really witchy. And
Yeah,
he's
is she?
yeah, oh yeah, and he is like he's even said like very he said in interviews about how yeah she's told him like this was going to be your year, this is not going to be your year, this is going to be leading up to, you have to work really hard at this specific time, and then give him crystals and things to to
He needs a
hold.
big fucking tourmaline the size of a mountain to
Yeah,
fix
but
his shit.
but also like you have a witchy wife and like she's telling you like it's time to retire and you're not listening to her. The fuck's wrong with you?
Okay. So I don't have a problem with Giselle. I always loved her, and
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, she dated Leo, and she told Leo to go, get bent, and he wanted to marry her. She's like, I'm not marrying you. You're not the marrying kind. So I kind of have like a mini dream or a mini hope that she and Leo will get back together.
She's too old for him. He only dates 25-year-olds because he's so emotionally immature.
That's so gross because he's starting to look like Jack Nicholson now, and I think that it's just icky, gross. So is fucking Christian Slater. I'm like, everybody that I used to have the hots for needs to stop looking like Jack Nicholson. Stop it.
Yeah, what happened to fucking the men that look like Paul Newman? Like he aged so well. He was still a beautiful man in his old
Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt. Oh my god, now he's looks like an old Brad Pitt. He's still hot though. Okay, and can we just talk about Johnny Depp and his recent transformation into fucking Steven Tyler? What is happening to Johnny Depp? He's getting fat and he's getting braids and dreads and he's like an old gay Jack Sparrow is what's happening to him. Now listen, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, Johnny Depp,
not my Johnny.
That's not my Johnny. I don't know what's happening with these men, but god damn it, just I don't care if you age because older men like my age, I'm in my 50s, they're fucking hot, right? As long as you have a beard and you got that silver, you're hot to me. But some of our childhood crushes are
I know
looking quite odd.
They didn't age. Some of them did not age well. Oh my god! Unfortunately,
you fucking have seen Mickey Rourke, right? He looks like he looks like the Lion Lady. I don't even know.
Yeah.
They also, men and women too, and of course this is me not judging, but
I don't want to talk about the women because I feel like we have so many
we have criticisms, yes,
and
critics,
but decades and hundreds of years of women being criticized for their looks, so let's just shit on the men for once.
Okay, but when you have so much plastic surgery that you start to look like you've had so much plastic surgery, it's sad. My favorite, Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox, they both look plastic surgeryed out, but Lisa Kudrow, she's like, yeah, not so much. Who's somebody else that hasn't done plastic surgery and she looks beautiful, like Jamie Lee Curtis? She doesn't. She hasn't.
Meryl Streep.
Did you know that sorry guys, we're in a celebrity tangent. Did you know that Christina Applegate has MS?
Oh no,
I didn't know that either. She walks with a walking stick now, like who is the girl that was on Dancing with the Stars? She was in Cruel Intentions.
Selma Blair. Selma Blair. Yeah, Selma Blair is really
fucking love Selma Blair. She was also in Legally Blonde, which is one of my favorite movies. So she's a badass too. But yeah, I didn't know that. I was really sad when I found that out. I'm like, oh, still beautiful.
But speaking of fucking actresses that Kate Blanchett, I don't know what she uses on her skin, but that woman looks immortal. She has the most beautiful fucking skin.
Seriously, and Angela fucking
Bassett. Oh my god.
What is she, almost 70 and she's a fucking flawless. It's right.
It's unfair.
Show
it
us.
Is unfair.
Stand up and show us.
Yeah.
Let us worship at your feet.
That woman is she's immortal. She doesn't look like she's aged a day. She's looked like the same for the last 20 years.
Fucking beautiful. We should all.
It's that melanin. on her, it's that
Mhm.
melanin. I don't know
Black
what fuck.
don't crack.
Yeah, I don't know what Kate Blanchett's secret is, but I want to
Mm-mm.
know.
Well, she's just good genes, I guess.
Or is it money? It's probably money. It's always money.
I saw, what movie did I see yesterday? Because yesterday I was like, sort of recuperating a little, just rehydrating and all that stuff. I watched, what movie was it with? Oh, Made in Manhattan with Jennifer Lopez and
Oh,
who Liam Neeson's wife who died. What was her name?
I don't remember her name.
I just Googled her yesterday, so I'm a little Natasha Richardson.
Oh yes,
She was in it, looking as beautiful as ever, and playing a big old asshole, which was kind of fun. Yeah, so another beautiful woman, but Jennifer Lopez too. I mean, she fucking flawless. And she's my age. She's like 53.
Oh, Natasha Richardson from the Parent Trap. That's
yes.
Why.
She died on she was on a skiing trip. Her and her husband Liam Neeson, and she hit her head, and then a couple days later she died.
I know he was devastated.
Oh, he was devastated.
Speaking of devastated actors who changed after their wives died, did you know that Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah.
He quit acting. He retired from acting when his wife passed so that he could take care of his children.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
I just learned that. And I was like, that is so sad, but also how amazing.
And he hasn't been in any of the Ghostbusters, has he?
No. He's out.
Yep, he hasn't been in any of them. Oh, I love Rick Moranis. All right, well, buddy, I hope he finds love again and purpose and passion, and he's happy and all that good shit.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to our celebrity roundup.
Right. Tangents. It's what we do best. Tangents.
All right. Yeah, you got any announcements today?
I really don't. Not an announcement. Other than, well, I do have one that's kind of cool. So I just recently ordered from Etsy an astrology metal stamping kit of all of the 12 zodiac signs. Oh. So I'm now going to be stamping custom orders with the person's actual sun sign.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I thought that would be a nice little addition. And speaking of my logo, which is the Sanskrit symbol for breathe, is my official logo, and I found a stamp of that too, so I'll be stamping my logo on things. So the moon will no longer be sort of my maker's mark. I'm just going to probably incorporate that into most of my designs, because the moon is the reason that I put the moon on jewelry is because if the moon is facing a certain way, it's a waxing moon, and if it's facing another way, it's a waning moon. And then I infuse that piece with Reiki. So it's either opening to receive or taking action on goals. So just know that that's always what's incorporated into a piece of jewelry if you order a custom piece from me.
Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Alrighty. What are we talking about today?
So today, I wanted to touch on the Akashic Records. And we've talked about the Akashic Records several times. So I wanted to take a little deeper dive into the records and talk about a few other things, how they're all related. And then at the very end, I'm going to share my intention for opening up my record, and I'll post that on the social so that people can do that as well. So I think that now is the time where people, there's so many clients that I'm getting that are being called to find their purpose, pivot, go in a different direction, that sort of thing. And I think the one tool that could help everybody is how to open your own Akashic record. So I think this is just, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. I think between eclipse season, that just started, and then the other planetary things that are coming up, which I'll talk about later, that all makes sense, that people are, the eclipse season is closing things and bringing to light the things that, need to be looked at and all that stuff. And then there's the Mars retrograde coming up and all that. It's just causing reevaluating and also just stepping back and looking at things. So the Akashic Records is great. And also, this is just because we're talking about the Akashic Records, just touching on this. I started reading this book, and this is probably information that I'm going to have ready for our next season. The book is called The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. And it is essentially a gospel or book that was completely channeled through the Akashic Records.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you tap into those, and again, we'll get into it in the episode, but once you tap into those Akashic Records, all bets are off. Like anything goes. Channeling, all that good stuff. Now, I just want to point out too that Fiorelli's just mentioned that she would talk about
Mars
retrograde later, but what we're actually doing now is we are taping minisodes, 5 to 15 minute mini episodes that will drop earlier in the week. So you might hear us say, "Oh, we'll talk about it later in the episode," but it's actually a separate episode. Yep. So just know that, and you know what else, you guys? You're welcome.
This will make it easier for you to just listening to that. If you just want to catch like some planetary stuff, or if we do like a tarot card pull or just a little mini message, it'll just be an easy way to listen to something short, compact, but also shareable. So please don't forget, if something resonates well with you, if you really enjoyed something, one of those short ones are great little pieces to share with other people. Because some people don't have time to do a whole hour episode, but yeah.
Right. And sometimes we don't have time to do a whole hour episode, but we get caught up in, in our stuff and our tangents. All right. So let's get into this. So the Akashic Records. Now, they're often described as a library, but this is simply for the benefit of us as humans to be able to integrate into our understanding, right? This isn't really the case. So I'm just going to urge you to reconsider your idea of what you are attempting to access or attempting to sort of, wrap your head around. The Akasha and the Akashic Records are an energy. It's a realm. It's a dimension. It's a consciousness. It's an energy. Okay. And so when you tap into that, you're tapping into the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh and beyond, those dimensions. Okay. So when you get a message from the Akashic Records, you're getting a message from those higher dimensions. Okay. Which is really badass. So you should really be proud of it. And if you can't access it, the good news is that you keep trying, because you eventually will. Absolutely. And again, we'll get into that. All right. So first thing I want to start out is telling you the difference between an Akashic Records reading and, say, like a medium reading or a psychic reading or even a tarot reading. Okay. So during a medium reading, I am a translator. I am a channel. I am the go-between, delivering messages from spirit guides, guardians, angels, any loved ones, friends, family, whatever, right? Any entity in spirit form that has passed over or is on the other side, I am the translator between the two. Now, just so you know that life doesn't end. Life does not end when we die. And to break it down, we simply just begin a whole brand new existence, right? We can still hear, we can still see, we can still communicate. We just no longer have a human body that provides us a voice to speak with, arms to reach out, that sort of thing. So that's the difference of it. And that's why it's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
So mediumship. So that's what mediumship is. Honestly, you guys, it's my most cherished gift or ability. And sharing it is an absolute privilege. And I love it. When those messages come through, it is literally the most amazing thing you can do as a human, is share a message. All right. Now, an Akashic Records reading is a little bit different. Okay. So first off, an Akashic energy is Q&A based. Okay. Which means that it builds as we talk. It builds on our emotions. The more we talk about a situation or an issue or a circumstance or a relationship, sort of the thicker the energy gets. That fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensional energy sort of starts to get more dense. And the more dense it is, the easier it is for us as third dimensional beings to tap into it, to see things, hear things, all of that good stuff. So to make a really clear connection, if you book a reading with me and you sit down, I ask you to talk about how you feel about whatever issue you're seeking clarity on. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to be like, tell me about that. This isn't to fish for information. And you all know how I feel about people testing us, fishing, all that shit. I'm like, you know what? Book someone else if you want to test somebody.
Right.
This isn't to fish. This is to create the strongest link possible between you and I. Okay. And then once that energy is thick and we have this link, then I use my psychic and empathic abilities to, see images, get information that comes to me from the records. So at the same time, I'm using those mediumistic or psychic abilities. I'm hearing, sensing, feeling, and, connecting to your spirit guides as a medium, as a channel, and all of those things. So it's really all about that Akashic energy that makes the difference.
Yeah.
It's like a shot of espresso in your latte. Okay. So what are the Akashic Records to you, Fee?
A library of information.
Yes. Right. So, but again, it's not like a physical library or anything like that. So maybe it's easier for people to think of it as like cloud storage for the universe.
Sure. Yes.
Right? Because when we send those documents up, I have no fucking idea where it's going.
Where is it sitting?
Where's it going? Right? But it's up there, and anytime I need to access it, I can pull it down, and there it is. So that's where it is. Now, during an Akashic reading, I'll connect to information in your soul blueprint, in your soul contracts, your Akashic record, whatever it is. All right. And then, of course, this is just a review, but when we decide to incarnate into human form, we will create sort of a blueprint to help us stay focused on our human, goals and lessons and karma and relationships, our tasks, all that stuff. And that's the plan for our human life. And then, of course, to get some help carrying out this plan, we create soul contracts with others, like our soulmates, like you and your husband have a soul contract. You and your kids have a soul contract. And these people help us learn important lessons. We learn our lessons through relationship. End of story. That's how we learn lessons.
Right.
And to keep us focused on the details of our soul blueprint, on our soul contract, on the goals, we enlist the help of advisors, also known as spirit guides. And again, this is just review. Most of you know this, but for first-time listeners or people that don't, I just want to really quickly go over it. And so all of this that I'm just talking about can be revealed and explored in an Akashic Records reading. I don't know if it can be explored in a standard psychic reading or something like that. And if there are psychics and intuitives out there that say, yes, it can, then please let us know, because I would love to talk to you. The reason I don't know is because I've only ever used the Akashic Records to explore my psychic abilities.
I had a Reiki session with someone where she told me what angel guides I had.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. The Akashic Records are, and I'll talk about this later, they're not the only way to access those higher dimensions.
Yeah.
And you do it differently too. Okay, so what are some ways that you can use your Akashic Record? I mean, I've got like 10 or so here. Let's see, you can explore your past lives, obviously, and how they impact your current challenges. You can get an idea of your life purpose and then how to get started on your path. And I mean, you can do that with numerology, but the Akashic Records actually gives me past information and future potential information. And there's messages and visions and all of those things that come with it to build this bigger picture. Because I can say, oh, you're a life path 6, so you should just be a nurse. And you're like, okay, well, how do I do that?
Or you're like, I don't like blood.
Right, exactly. And so, logically my brain can be like, well, and come up with all these logic, alternatives, which is going to be me blowing smoke out my ass. But if I open up the Akashic Records, then they'll show me past lives, future lives, potential lives. They'll show me situations and issues that can contribute, which will give us just a bigger picture, I guess.
Yeah.
You can use the Akashics to develop a stronger connection with your spirit guides by calling them in and meeting them in the energy of the Akasha. You can explore past lives and karmic debt. You can also clear it. No, clearing karma is really, it's inherent in your soul blueprint. So let's say that you are a life path 9, that's the humanitarian. You don't need to do anything to clear any karmic debt that you bring forward where you were the opposite of a humanitarian. You just need to live fully and wholly in that humanitarian life path to clear it.
Okay.
You can identify karmic connections with individuals in your present life. So you can say, who was Mike to me in a past life? That sort of thing. You can, of course, connect with deceased loved ones. The energies it's just like a cakewalk for, that's how my mediumship got started once I accessed the Akashic Records, because it was so much easier for spirit to come through in that energy. You can also connect with pets that have passed over, and I get pets that come through often. Yes,
I love that.
I do too. They're so sweet and always so loving and so generous, and I love them. You can explore the Akashic Record of your business. If you're a business owner and you're like, why isn't this business taking off? Why isn't it off the ground? You can open up the Akashic Record of your business. Honestly, guys, I don't know why more people don't book my Akashic reading for their business, for the business. It's one of my least expensive readings, and I priced it that way because I want people to do this. It is an absolute game changer. When you are struggling with your business model, business plan, or whatever, getting your business read has literally, it changed everything for several people. Let's see. And then of course the last 2 are, you can use it to create more satisfying relationships by understanding the origins of your challenges, that sort of thing. And then, connecting with your guides, to develop a stronger connection with them, but using that to get clarity around situations or choices or whatever. So you can do a lot of really cool stuff in the Akashics, shit that fixes shit.
Yeah. It's having access to so much information that you would otherwise wouldn't be privy to.
Right. And that's the thing. You are privy to it, but you don't know how to access it. How the hell do you pull that up? How do you ask for it? There's just a process to it. Which is why I know a lot of people out there charge, hundreds, thousands. I'm not going to talk about people's prices, but when you're being charged like 25, 100 plus for a class to learn how to open up the records, that's a bit much, because there's a free pathway prayer on the internet.
Right.
It's like people don't need to pay to learn how to open up the record. They're going to pay to learn how to use the record, access the record. So, all right. So now let's talk about when issues from a past life show up. How do we know? So first off, let's touch on karma real quick. Karma gets a bad rap because it's often been interpreted as punishment from the universe, right? People are like...
Right. Or cause and effect.
Right. People think it's
instant
punitive.
Cause and effect.
Right. But it's not punitive. Listen, the universe is not some strict disciplinarian who rewards you when you do good or punishes you when you fuck up. That's not how it works. The universe supports our journey 100% of the time. So when past life karma comes up, it's not to punish us, it's our chance for a do-over. And this is where I'm touching on what Fiorelise was talking about earlier. In whether it's in your current life or a past life, if you missed a lesson or made a mistake or missed an opportunity or made decisions that didn't produce the results you hoped for, you get a chance to revisit lessons. You will get a chance to do that. The universe is going to keep bringing up the same challenges and issues until you get it right, because it wants you to get it right.
Yeah.
You get more, but you get to do that and think of it like, oh, not this again, but think of it like, okay, this again, but I have more soul experience. I have a new opportunity to master it this time around. I'm wiser. I'm stronger. I'm identifying it a little bit more easier. This time it's going to be cake.
Yeah.
Eventually the lesson goes away because you learn it.
That reminds me of when I was a sophomore in high school. I was switched out of schools. I went to one school for my freshman year, and then we moved. And at first I was like really sad about it, but then once I started the school year, or right before I started the school year, I was like, this is my chance. Like, it's like going to high school and like knowing what to expect. Like, I can show up as like who I want to be because nobody here knows me.
Yes, girl.
Yeah. And it was like, it was such a better experience, like walking into that day one where I had walked into, because I had actually done that the first time with my freshman school. I didn't know anyone there either. But I didn't know how to I was like frozen with like fear of like, I don't know anyone. Right. Whereas the second time around, I was like, no, I don't know anyone, which means they don't know me, which means I can be whoever I want because they have, so you look at it with that energy, like think of the unlimited possibilities.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that. You're like, this is my chance. It was like in a movie. All right. Now listen, here's the thing. When you were prior to that, were you like a troublemaker?
No. I was just like, I think like wishy-washy about like what I liked or who I wanted to be friends with, for example. And so by the time, I got to do it over again, it was like, no, this is who I am. And these are the things that I like. Like I was very set in like, this is who I am. Like very, yeah.
You knew who the fuck you were.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my God, that cracks me up. I love your visual. This is my chance.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know what? You get as many chances as you need to learn whatever lessons that you set for yourself or whatever situations you want to set up for yourself. So using the Akashic Records, you can go back to a past life where the trauma was created and then, be shown or try to figure out or get some insight into a way to release the energy that is sabotaging your life or that you keep finding yourself in cycles, and also to find that parallel between then and now. So I often get a client who is like, this I had one the other day who has a terrifying or has an inability to make decisions, very indecisive.
Yeah.
And we opened up her Akashic record, and it was because in a past life, she actually lost a baby because of a decision that she made. So now she constantly second guesses herself. And it was, the baby was lost in a flood. So it was like a physical, I made the wrong decision. Now I'm in this dangerous situation that just swept my baby away from me. So now in this lifetime, she's like, what if I make the wrong decision?
Yeah.
So now that she understands that, she can, she at least understands, okay, this isn't the same thing. And so it's very cool how that happens.
Yeah.
All right. So another issue that will pop up is when you reincarnate with the same people, and it's not necessarily an issue. It's just a thing. Right. And I see this often is people from past lives are also present in this lifetime in their lives. Because as I talked about earlier, we make these agreements with other souls to learn lessons together. And also, now this is the easiest, most digestible way that I can present this, because this concept also can trigger people or piss people off. So trigger warning, okay? Is that On a soul level, there are never victims and perpetrators at the soul level, okay? At the human level, absolutely.
Right.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
But at the soul level, it's we're here to learn lessons together. Let me just put it that way. So we are connected by soul contracts. We sign pre-incarnation. There are only they're just two or more souls who agree to help each other in their soul growth. And it can be that one or two players are the same, but it can also be that all the players are the same. So you can very well reincarnate. A lot of time people will say, well, why would I reincarnate with this person, like this mother who is awful?
Mm-hmm.
So I've asked myself that plenty. But that's because there's either karma to wrap up. There's action to be taken that has never been taken before. It's to stand up. It's to leave the situation. It's to remove yourself. Like a lot of women or humans will go no contact with these abusive family members.
Yes.
That's a soul contract also, because that is hopefully the catalyst that helps that asshole family member see, oh, look what I've created. What situations am I supporting and creating in my own life that are making people that are my family want nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of different variables on that. So when we tap back into that karma that we were talking about earlier, if we learned one side of an experience in a past life, this life may be the opportunity that we wrote for ourselves to learn the other side of an experience. A lot of times this comes up with murder. One time, I think I've talked about this before. I was tapping in to a soul who had been murdered, and I was like, do you want me to? Can you give me a name or something so I can let the police know? And she's like, she was annoyed, sort of. I mean, as annoyed as a spirit can be. She's like, justice is a human construct that has nothing to do with the soul's growth and development. And so basically, she was like, justice will take place, karma will take place. It'll all be taken care of. Don't worry about it on that end. So. Mm-hmm. So I think, that explains why why do people get away with murder? Why do serial killers get away with it after years and years and years, but then they die and they're never brought to justice? Yeah. And they are brought to justice, just in a different way. Let's see. What's the next one? How issues can show up in our lives. Oh, fears that are based in past life showing up in this life.
Oh, yeah, that one's very common.
That's so common. And I see it over and over again in the Akashic Records. It basically keeps a client playing small. It keeps us playing small, where we feel stuck or stagnant, dissatisfied, and we stay in these situations. Because here's the thing. Many of us, I'm going to say all of us, have been killed, persecuted, threatened. We've all lost loved ones in previous lives. So as a result, we may experience fears that keep us from stepping into either our full potential or taking action, speaking our truth, living our soul's purpose, any number of things that it can keep us from doing. But it's because of those fears, like with the lady and the baby. Mm-hmm. So with the Akashic Records, past lives and past life abilities as well can be made fully available to you in this lifetime when you heal those traumas from a life that caused them to go dormant. A lot of people have traumas that they're like, I don't understand. I have a client who is afraid of strawberries.
Oh.
And it is like death. She's deathly afraid of them.
And what did it come from?
We can't figure it out. I've gone into her record I don't know how many times. And it's like, I have no idea why. Isn't that weird? So
that is bizarre.
It's not a really good testament to my abilities to access the Akashic Records. But it's like, there's no earthly reason for this thing.
Yeah. My mom is like super afraid of heights. That one, I'm not sure why. I mean, she fell off a cliff when she was little and she broke her arm. That's God. Probably why.
That's probably why.
It's not even a past life. That's just like her early life. No, she also does not like the sea. She does not like the ocean. She does not like boats.
You said that. I can't imagine.
She died in a past life. She fell off a boat and she drowned in the ocean. So that's where that one came from.
Or a lady? Do you remember? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't access that. She accessed that through a hypnotherapist, and then I just, sat on the stairs and listened to the session. And
That's right. I remember that. And you were supposed to be in bed, and you're like, "No,
I'm listening. No, I want to know this.
I'm here." Yeah, that's a lot of people that are afraid of heights. It's because of falls that they have taken off of hills or cliffs or mountains or whatever.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how, I feel like it's almost human nature to be afraid of it, because, keep yourself safe, right?
Yeah.
But recently I discovered there's this whole website that maps out all the deaths on the Grand Canyon.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there's so many, and it's because of people who stand too close to the edge of the cliffs, and they fall. Happens all the time.
So in some of these, things like the Grand Canyon and the falls and all that stuff.
Yes.
Do we need to require people to take common sense training prior to going out on these trails and stuff?
I don't know. Maybe it's just Darwinism. I don't know.
That's true. I like that explanation. Getting rid of.
You know what they should. You know what they should hold at the Grand Canyon is all the MAGA rallies.
That's true. We're gonna have a MAGA rally right at the edge of this cliff.
And you know what? Let nature take its course.
Pray for an earthquake. Oopsie. All right. Well, we're gonna lose a couple listeners for that one, probably, but who cares, right? Sorry.
Go jump off the cliff. Whatever.
All right. The next thing that could be sort of impacted from past lives are, any beliefs that you've developed, any traumas that you experienced, which, any emotions that are repressed in a past life, that can create a vibrational match in your current life. Because time, it really is a human construct, much like justice, and it doesn't really technically exist. So any beliefs, traumas, unhealed emotions, anything created in a past life, that's no different than those experienced in this current life when it comes to our subconscious mind. Because like the reticular activation system, the subconscious doesn't differentiate between reality or, non-reality.
Sure. It's just
and then whatever you believe, it co-creates your experiences. So even when nothing you've experienced in this life supports your reality, you're still going to struggle with that.
Makes sense. I wonder, since justice is only a human construct and it doesn't exist on the soul level, what other things are only, on the human level and not on the... I mean, I know time is one of them.
Yep, time. Anything third dimensional based, right?
Money.
What is it? Yes. Here, the six senses, or no, the five senses. If you can taste it, feel it, that sort of thing.
So then taste.
Taste is a human construct. I mean, what did I just read the other day? Yeah, it is because, I don't know that it's specifically human, but it is. But the other day I was just reading about the Arcturian race, and Arcturians don't eat food. They get their nutrients from energy. So they ingest energy.
Okay.
Yes. Which is just a tiny little segue.
Kind of like a plant.
Yeah, like osmosis, right? Isn't that how plants get their energy? But keep your train of thought there, because they said that, and this is getting super esoteric, but they said the lizard people and the reptilians, they actually eat. The reason that they want us is not to possess our body, but they want low vibrational people because they eat low energy, negative, dense energy. And Arcturians, quote unquote, eat high vibrational light energy. And they don't need to hurt people to get that.
Interesting.
Yes, right? Because isn't that cool? I know I got sucked down into the cosmic, esoteric, woo-woo, alien race wormhole. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. Kind of makes sense. Makes sense on a lot of levels.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we explore your musings enough about like those lower um, about human
Oh,
constructs?
the human yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, no, all that stuff. Yes, and I was just thinking out loud. I was just thinking like, what else, But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's a cool topic, a cool thought. All right. I think there's like one more. There's one more. Okay. And this is one that's super popular. People really find this one interesting. Our past life chords and vows.
yes.
Big one. All right. So, especially past life deathbed vows, those are incredibly energetically powerful. If you vow something during your deathbed process, it gets hard coded into your energy and it will influence your current reality.
Ooh.
It's basically an incredibly powerful intention that is set.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when past life vows get activated in this lifetime for whatever reason, they sabotage your current reality without you even knowing it, right? Again, the subconscious mind just doesn't know time, so it just honors the vow and keeps, things like money and love away from you.
Yeah.
So some of those vows, for example, could be to never love anyone other than the soul you were married to in that lifetime, or any other decision that you really fully commit to. A lot of times I'll get priests or nuns that took a poverty vow and a celibacy vow. I know I took a poverty vow and I had to switch that up when I was a nun. That I had to do a whole bunch of work around the nun past life. And then also, just with the poverty vow, like you literally cannot allow money in your life if your subconscious mind has stored in its files that you took a vow to be poor. It's just not going to work. So you have to bring these vows out of your subconscious and release them Now, you can do this with the power of intention. Okay. It's consistent. You're going to have to create a practice. You're going to have to do meditations and some energy work I recommend and all that stuff. But basically the intention is something along the lines of this, which I will post this on the socials. You want to say like, in the past, I made a vow of blank. And I have learned, that it's, I have learned blank as a result of it, right? It's important to state what it is that you've learned. So in the past, I've learned a vow of poverty, and I've learned that I am deserving of abundance and prosperity. But in the future, I realize that this old vow of poverty no longer serves me. And so I now release this vow from my energy field and my consciousness at all levels, as well as any limitations that is created in my life. I now embrace a new vow of abundance and incorporate it into my soul. I ask my guides to bring the new energies of this vow into my life and embrace the changes it will bring. And so it is, all of that sort of thing. So this, I recommend, doing this in a meditation while you're also doing, abundance work. Fiorelise has an amazing class on prosperity and abundance and, and the shadow and all that stuff. So using those two tools together, very, very helpful and effective. And then the second half of this is to remove cords. Then I recommend that you work with an energy healer, because it's important to remove the entire cord, roots and all, and then fill the gap with healing energy. A lot of people want to cut the cords, and the practice is called cutting the cords, but it's ineffective, because if you leave those roots in your energy, they're just going to grow back.
Yeah.
So the intention is that they need to be totally removed. And then of course filled with healing energy. So anyway, so those are two ways with vows and cords, how they can impact your current life in ways that you can get to the root of those in the Akashic Record.
Very cool.
So here's to wrap that piece of it up. Past life influences are not all bad.
Yeah.
They don't have to show up negatively in every situation. Past lives, they also bring gifts into our life. When you access your Earth Star chakra, which is located 12 inches below your feet, that is the chakra that holds past life skills, abilities, memories, all of that stuff. And when we develop or when we access all of those things that we developed in past lifetimes, then that provides us the skills, the talents, the knowledge, and the wisdom that we can access now. That's how I accessed my silversmithing past life, is through my roots, my Earth Star chakra, and then my knowledge. Like, I'm self-taught with silversmithing.
So did you go into the Akashic Records with the intention of accessing that, or how exactly did?
So I opened up my Akashic record, and then I did an Earth Star meditation.
Okay.
I actually have 2 downloadable meditations on my website, joefierce.com. And they're like $11 each. They're super cheap, super inexpensive. I hate that word, cheap. So there's
super affordable.
Super affordable. Thank you. I like that. There's one that goes through all of the chakras, and then there's another one that takes you through all of the dimensions. When you use those 2 together, but separately, not at the same time, but and you focus on accessing, you open up your Akashic record, use those. It's a very, very, very powerful practice. It's what I use to develop mine. So yeah, you open up your record, you listen to a meditation, and then in that meditation, that's when you bring in your intentions, your prayers, all those things. Okay, so now how does that help me, Joe, if I don't know how to open up my own record? So here's the thing. It's super easy to learn to open your own Akashic record. Fiorelise has been working with her record for what, the last 2 years, year and a half?
Year and a half, yeah.
Yeah. So tell people, what difference has it made in your meditations and your connections and stuff?
It just allows you to go so much more deeper and access information that otherwise just doesn't really make sense otherwise. Because I've had sometimes things pop in through meditation that I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can go into the Akashic Records with an intention and with a question, and you can get more insight to that specifically, it's just more direct.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're tapping into a higher density, higher, frequency of energy. So you're going to get more details, more knowledge, more knowing too.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So now listen, reading your own record absolutely 100% cannot be mastered overnight. So if you're trying to rush it, if you're like, why can't I access it? Why can't I access it? You're just going to get frustrated and you're going to quit. Okay. So this has to be a practice that you undertake, much like any consistent practice. Okay. But you can learn how to do it, because everybody innately has the ability to do it. They have the skills to do it, and it is their birthright to access your own damn record.
Yeah.
Now listen, being able to open your record doesn't give you carte blanche access to your past lives, though. The guardians of the Akashic Records are very, very picky and very specific, because if we had carte blanche access, we wouldn't have a need to not remember our past lives automatically.
Right.
But when you need to know the source of something that is plaguing you in this lifetime, that is keeping you from living your best life or in your highest version of self, or keeping you from this goal that you've set for yourself, they are going to just like make that as easy as fuck for you to get access to that, because that's what you're supposed to do.
I know when I have a friend that they won't give him information. I mean, you know who this is, but they won't give him information as to his past life. Like they'll give him like the general, like, this is who you were, and like you had a great life, and that's it. Like they won't give anything else. Details. No. And what I've told him, it's like, because you don't need to know, because it's not important to what you're doing now. All you need to know was that it was a great life and it's over now, and you're not here to revisit that. You're not here to carry on the karma of that past life. You're here doing your own thing, your own way, and let that be. But it's hard for him.
Yeah. You know what I'm getting to, and my legs are tingling on this one, that because the expectation, they don't want him to build a foundation upon that life and what he experienced there, because the point is it experiential. It's his opportunity in this life to learn something different.
Yes.
And they don't want him to use that as a platform because that's going to make his expectation the same, which is just going to fucking derail him. So let him know that there is a reason for it. It is that he doesn't need to know, but the reason that he doesn't need to know is because it will mess with what he's supposed to know.
Sure. Or what he's supposed to learn.
Yes. What he's supposed to learn. Okay. All right. So here's the other thing too. As any of you that work with tarot, oracle, or you're psychics or mediums yourself or intuitives, it is so much easier to be read by another person than to interpret your own readings, your own astrology.
Seriously.
Your own cards. It's impossible. I mean, I have people that I go to when I can't figure shit out. I'm like, you gotta help me. I can't figure this out.
Yeah. And you know what I equate that to is the same. I run into the same thing when I'm like designing for people. Like I can design for other people easy.
Yeah.
Like no problem. I can, you can tell me like, give me an idea what you like, you know, your taste and all that. And then I'll come up with something for you. But for me, I'm like, I get into such a like indecision paralyzation that I'm just like, I can't make another choice. I can't, there's too many choices. There's too many options. I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. So, you know, call in your friends, call in your trusted advisors, call in that, you know, badass intuitive, you know, that always has your answers. And honestly, if this is something that you do for a living, you make those connections. I am always making connections with new readers, new astrologers and psychics and all that stuff, because we can then rely on each other. And you can trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Trading. It is so much fun. And, you know, so trade with somebody that you're comfortable with and that you trust. And, you know, it's fun to do that.
Yeah, definitely someone you trust though.
Definitely.
Not just anyone.
No. And another thing that comes up is people like, well, because you already know me, should I do this or should I read you? Because I already know, so I don't want my own knowledge to, you know, mess with the message that comes through. And it's like, absolutely, you should read me, even more so, because then they can weed through the shit that they know,
right?
That you already know. It develops a deeper, stronger connection.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. Your best friend can read you. Now that's not going to say that they won't insert some of their own judgments or, you know, whatever, but you know, that's your best friend. So, you know, they're going to do that.
Right.
Okay. So back to learning to open your own record. Remember that the energy of the Akasha is built upon the spoken word. So the more questions you ask, the more clarity that you are going to receive. And also it's important to remember that an Akashic experience is different from person to person. So opening the record is an individual process as unique as your fingerprints, opening it and working with it. So that's because you use your specific, most powerful clair abilities to create a technique that is distinct to only you. Okay, so the pathway prayer online that you can download, say it, and if you don't feel anything, tweak it. The prayer that I'm going to load onto the internet and share with you all, say it to yourself, and if you don't feel anything, tweak it. Make it yours. The prayer that I was given, I tweaked it, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just clicked into place. And I'm like, those are my words. Yeah. So there's nothing mystical about a specific prayer. What makes it powerful is when it resonates with you, because that is sort of it's the key that opens you up to those records. And just to sort of give you a really good example of that, like I view past lives and how they impact current life situations when I tap into the Akashic Records. But there's another reader that I know who uses Akashic energy using automatic writing. And then she sends her answers and often an email to her clients. And yet another reader uses Akashic energy to connect their clients to their animal totems. and then works with their animal totems.
Yeah.
So it just depends on your method, depends on your interests, your skills, and the techniques that you're just naturally drawn to.
Yeah.
All right. So once you've tapped in, how do you know? How do you know you've tapped in? So when you open to this energy, you're connecting to sort of this ancient source of knowing. So it's going to feel a little bit different. So I want you to release all visions of books and libraries and great halls and domed ceilings, all that shit, right? Your consciousness and your physical body are going to be your point of reference. Your knowing is going to be your access. You're going to feel a shift in your physical body, but also in the energy around you. So you're going to be using your clairsentience. It's an energy, it's a sensation. Maybe it's similar to channeling. You know how when you channels, how you sort of settle into this autopilot type of energy. You might feel some enhanced skin sensitivity or tingling. Again, it's going to be different for everyone, and you're going to come to know it the more skilled and comfortable you become accessing the energy and your intuitive abilities. That's why you're not going to feel anything the first time, because you're not going to understand what your signs and triggers and symbols and all those things are, because it's the first time you've experienced them, right? It's like taking a drug and you're like, I don't feel anything. Well, because you don't know what those subtle shifts and changes are.
These edibles ain't shit.
So I'm going to take 4 more. And then, oh my God, the Connors had an episode just recently where Dan took 3 edibles and he's all fucked up because he's like, well, I didn't feel anything. So I took another one and then I got the munchies. So then I ate the 3rd one.
Oh my God.
Fucking the Connors. I think it's just as funny without Roseanne. All right. Okay. So again, anyway, it's different, for everyone. All right. So, the way to figure it out, to know that you've entered the Akashic Records, is consistent practice. And I teach intuitive development, and I'm always saying that consistent practice. Yeah. And then the last thing, that I want to talk about, I know this is a longer episode, so I apologize, guys, is how to actively use your intuition. Because once you have that open and then you feel those shifts, then what do? People are like, well, now what do I do? Yeah. So actively using your intuition is very simple. You just want to pay attention. Again, you want to pay attention to your inner voice. You want to listen for any words, thoughts, ideas, inspiration, any nudges that you get, any visuals. Have a journal, write down thoughts. You want to pay attention to your body. Again, any associated tingles, ear ringing, shivers, any anxiety or butterflies. That's a key that you've tapped into some different energy. Any unusual sensations. If you're claircognizant dominant, you might feel compelled to strike while the iron's hot, right? Take action. Feel like inspiration just comes out of nowhere. If you're clairaudient, your messages, or your intuition might come through as words or phrases, or just a general understanding. Like you're hearing things, you're hearing your own thoughts. Yeah. You're hearing thoughts that aren't necessarily coming from you. If you're clairsentient, you are going to sense using your feelings, again, your emotions, your skin, tingles, or just your inner knowing, which is going to be tapping into that claircognizance too. And then clairvoyance, that's probably one of the easier ones. You see visions, symbols, signs, all of that good stuff. Typically with clairvoyance, close your eyes to get focused. That's what I do, but not everybody does that. So just to sort of wrap this up, psychic and intuitive abilities can be developed by anyone. You just have to take the time to learn how. Everyone has intuitive potential, but your abilities will often remain undeveloped, just because people aren't really good at going or setting some sort of intuitive practice. Mm-hmm. Fiorelise and I we have 5s in our charts. We're awful at consistency and consistent practices, but this is something that we do because we love it and it comes naturally.
Yeah.
So, training is necessary. It's just up to you to train yourself and learn the process. Now here also, it's only it's never a question, ever, ever, ever a question of being gifted with more abilities than the other person, or you not being gifted, right? You're like, oh, I'm not as gifted as that person or whatever. It's never about that. It's only ever about you, your willingness to unlock your specific abilities and become really goddamn familiar with the practices that help you develop them in a way that is aligned with your soul. That's all it is. It's consistency, consistency, consistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the opening prayer. I'm just going to say it, but again, I'll put this on the socials. Now, during a reading, if you book a reading with me, I don't say this out loud because I really, this is inward. This is me connecting with my spirit guides, guardians, angels, your spirit guides, and all that stuff. But I'm going to read it out loud now because I want you to hear. I'm not saying, oh, Satan, I summon thee, which I always wonder if some people are like, who's she talking to? What's she saying? What's that prayer? Who's she calling in? So basically, this is what I say. This is what I say when I open my own Akashic record. Okay. I say, I call upon the librarians, the guardians of the Akashic records. I ask to be a pure and clear channel to see the best in myself and to okay, so here's the thing. I have it memorized, so when I try to read it, it messes me up. So I'm just going to close my eyes and I'm going to say it. So,
okay.
I call upon the librarians, the guardians of the Akashic records. I ask to be a pure and clear channel to see the best in others and to receive your messages without interpretation and without self-judgment. Help me to know myself in the light of the Akashic records, to see myself through the eyes of the guardians of the records, and enable me to receive the wisdom and passion that you have for me so that I may be of service in the highest good of all. My record is now open. So you heard me sort of make a couple flubs there because when I open it for other people, this is what it would sound like. So if you don't mind, I'll use yours. Okay. I call upon the librarians, the guardians of the Akashic record. I ask to be a pure and clear channel to see the best in others and to deliver your messages without interpretation and without self-judgment. Help me to know Fiorelise Franco in the light of the Akashic records, to see Fiorelise through the eyes of the guardians of the records, and enable me to share the wisdom and compassion that you have for her so that we may both be of service in the highest good of all. Her record is now open. I could even feel the shift. I felt that shift right there. It opened up your record. All right. I now close the record. Leaving that shit open. Close the door.
What's going to happen? So ghosts come out.
Right. And here's the thing too, is a lot of the Akashic readers out there, teachers out there will tell you how critically important it is to close the door after you open it. I'm going to tell you that is not the case with me. I never close records. There's no reason to. The manner in which I use them, and the intention behind them is I'm opening up and I'm looking at the stuff. A lot of my practices do not jive with a lot of those. I'm not going to call them fear-based practices, but there are practices out there where they're like, you got to do this and you got to do that and you have to do this and you have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm better, anything like that. It's just that I don't have to do those things. And I completely trust my guides that if I do need to do that, then they'll let me know.
Yep.
So my point is if you read that, do what resonates, and what doesn't, leave it.
For sure.
So that is our discussion this week about the Akashic Records. If you'd like to book your own record, you can jump on my website, joefierce.com. Or if you'd like to book your own reading, or I encourage you to start playing and practicing, and please keep us posted. Send us an email or a message letting us know how it goes for you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Everybody's welcome.
All right, everyone. As always, you can find us on all the socials under Esoterics Podcast and catch us on Facebook. Find us under the Esoterics community under Facebook groups. This is a safe place to ask questions on all things spiritual or not so spiritual. You'll also find support and information for developing your own spiritual and intuitive abilities as well as your daily practices.
Thank you for inviting us into your life. Stay mystical, magical, and don't let anyone tell you what to do. Is that our new tagline?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bye.